We made it. We're doing well. I'm excited for this this session. It is my pleasure to introduce to you June Hua, Assistant Professor of Product Design at Westphal College of Media Arts and Design at Drexel University in Philadelphia. June's passion and focus is on aging and relevant design innovation, co-design practices with community partners, and an expertise in eyewear products. So I'm really excited, and welcome to the Design Forge.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me. This is my first time coming to Design Forge, so I'm really excited. If I came here, I have to declare I do not know anyone here because I recently this is my second year as a faculty member, because before, long story short, I came 15 years ago. I came from China as an international student, and I joined UIUC, University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, Rachel's place, and to do my master's degree. And after graduation, I went to New York City. I thought I need to go to New York City, the center of the world, and I want to be a professional industrial designer there. And I worked there for about 10, 12 years. COVID hit, and I realized, oh my God, I cannot be isolating at home working on products, 3D models. I need to work with people. I need to make impact. I need to go into the community. And that's how I connect to my value. So I quit my job as a full-time designer in New York City and applied job, and Drexel took me. So I'm very grateful for Raja. I know many of you know Raja. She nominated me to come here to connect me to Danielle to give a speech today. So that's why I'm here. That's a short introduction of myself. Okay, so today what I'm going to talk is co-create beyond cultural barriers and intergenerational collaboration with local immigrant aging communities. And why do I want to do this? Because one of the reasons is that I come from an immigrant background, and I realized when I first came to America, I wanted to tell my story, but I was not confident. Language was not my strong part because I was actually struggling to understand my professors talking in the class. And when professor asked us to write something, to read, to share, I did not do it because I knew I couldn't do it as well as other students, or within 10 minutes, I couldn't finish as many sentences as others. So how do I do that? And also, this is another reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is a picture I took in 2021 in New Jersey. Actually, my house is across this street, and you can see all the garbages, and this is actually household furnitures, household items on every house's lawn. Because we were hit by Hurricane Ida, and our community was heavily flooded, and each of our basement, I think in our neighborhood, the flood was like at a waist. So we lost a lot of things. People threw out a lot of things on their lawn. And my neighbor, who is an older grandma and immigrated from China many years ago, but she still does not speak English very well. So she called me. She said, June, I really need your help. I got a lot of booklets from the local communities, and I need to apply for FEMA fund, but I have no idea how to do that. So because I speak Chinese and she's from China, and I helped her to navigate all these situations. And after that, I realized older adults, especially the immigrants, are very isolated in this kind of situation. At the same time, that was during the pandemic, 2021. Before that, she used to go to New York City very often. New Jersey is next to New York City, so it's like about half an hour or 40 minutes train ride or bus. But she did not go outside anymore because a lot of anti-Asian discrimination and hate crimes happen in public transportation, and she had to take public transportation to go to New York City. And so she was so worried, and she wanted to meet her friends, but also she does not know how to use Zoom, those things. So she was even more isolated. So I realized after talking to more and more people, this is not only her issue, this is a bigger issue for many people like her. And as an immigrant myself, I could feel her pain. So I have been thinking, what should I do? So my background is product design, industrial designer, and I'm from a designer's perspective. As a design educator, how might we create an educational experience to include and support them And how might we better understand their dreams, aspirations, and fears by creating channels for communication? How might we increase students' awareness and understanding of inclusive design in the real world? Okay, so next is the fun part. Let's do an exercise workshop together before I dive in deeper into my content. So I think on each table, you have a booklet like this. And I would say I prepared 3 exercises, but we do not have time to do 3 together. So each table has a different exercise, and we open it, you'll realize. But I will walk you through the guidelines, how to do them. So each table will do differently, and then we'll share the results. So the first exercise, some of the tables, maybe 3 got it, is called mapping out your social tree. Oh, by the way, on each table, you also in the middle, there's a bucket, and there are, I think, sticky notes, there are markers, pencil, and scissors, blue sticker there, so you can use. Okay, first mapping out your social tree. Let me show you the result first. So this is a technique I used in the older Asian communities between my students and the older adults, for my students and older adults to understand each other. But they had this like language barrier, they had this cultural barrier. How do they do it? And we designed this social tree activity. And in the center, originally there was a photo of the older adult, but I kind of swapped it to illustration. And you might not see clearly, but on the printout, I think you can see. For example, this is my daily activities, and it's bilingual. And there's who am I, where I'm from, how old I am, my profession. And here is my language. What language do I use, and how do I use language to communicate, to go to different places? This is my transportation. For example, this is Septa, and this is her daily activity. Her hobby is cooking, so she enjoys cooking and calligraphy, all those stuff. So while doing this, we have also a volunteer interpreter and supporting that little team, 2 students, 1 older adult, and 1 interpreter helping together. And the way we do it, first, pair as a team. For today, because we all speak English, so we do not have a translator or interpreter, so this is a little bit different from our exercise, but I want to show you a glimpse how did we do originally. So today I want you to find a teammate, but I would rather you find not a teammate you paired before, find someone new you do not know so well, you have not talked before. Okay, now take 1 minute, maybe 20 seconds to find a teammate. Okay, I see someone's nodding.
We have 3, we have problems.
Yeah, sorry, keep going. No.
Do you want to go first?
I already have a hard time, sorry.
Okay, good. Okay, we're good. Okay, so we're checking on the audio, so I'm not. Okay, so. And also, you can know each other better, like know more people. That's great. This is different. That's fine. So we can just use this on the paper, right? We're just doing this on. Yes. It's not like a written paper. Oh, okay. So we're doing this for each other, or we're doing our own? Okay, let's start next. So now you found your new partners, which is great, and so some of the booklet you can see the sample tree. Make a social tree with your partner. We will have conversation time, okay. So don't worry. So I would like one of you as an interviewer to ask another person questions and make the social tree for the other person. So simple question to ask, like, where are you from? What do you do for a living? Or what's your major if you're a student? Tell me about your passion in life.
how do you celebrate your culture and tradition. And in the end, we'll have a little bit time to celebrate. I want to show you this. If you have the social tree booklet, on the back of the page, I think, you'll see this. This is a base of your structure. You can draw this on the white paper first, so you know exactly what kind of questions and how many answers you would like to get. So do not start if you do not have the social tree booklet. If you have the social tree booklet, you can start now. So the next one is draw or print out your answers. And this one you can do individually. And if you do not want to work with pair, but I think it will be great for both ways. So first, let me show you this. This is the result we did in our workshop with older adults. And basically, our students asked a few design questions to older adults, but instead of answering like a storytelling, they did not say anything. They used their paintbrush and draw pencils to draw things, to paint things out. And in the end, they told a story to the interpreter, and the interpreter told us the whole stories of their painting and the drawing, why this color, why this shape, why these objects. So this is actually low stake way for them to get engaged because they are not afraid of talking in the public, especially for people whose language ability is not so great or who's introvert, who do not want to be picked and talk and share. So they can kind of like indirectly express their ideas and then share with individual interpreters later. So if you have this, in the booklet, you should have a deck of cards. Choose 2 cards in front of you to answer each question on the card by drawing or painting, no writing allowed. So you will have about 10 minutes to draw paint each card, so you have totally 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, tell the person sitting next to you about your story, or the other person can just ask you questions like, oh, why do you draw that, to share with them, but this is words not allowed for this exercise. So if you have this in your package, and you also have the color markers, pencils in that basket, so you can use that for your drawing and painting. So the third one is called the universe of your world. So let me show you the result first. This is a universe with a lot of planets. This is one of the results from our older immigrant participants. So we prepared collaging materials, like images we think are relevant to their culture, relevant to their environment and their stories. And we printed a lot of images, and they pick the images, and the students will cut the images for them and glue to this planet universe, which is the images in the center are the most important to the participant, which they pick. Oh, this family is so important for me. For example, travel with my husband, and this is here. And I love park. I love exercising in the park. The park is in the center. But something maybe not so important, like a house, maybe I just need a small space. That's okay. I do not care a big house. So that's like in the outside circle. So the closer, the most important to you, the further, less important. And after the older adult finished this, and the interpreter talked to her a little bit and wrote some keywords under each picture, and to show the whole class so they can understand the older adult better. So if some of you, I think, got this booklet, and you also got a stack of printed out images, and you can pair with your partner, ask your partner, oh, which ones are important, which are not important, then you can begin to build on your planet universe. So before you do everything, maybe you want to, where is this from? I'm not sure where is this from. Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
Because this is not on my computer screen, so like I have to look this. Okay. So before that, you might want to draw this on the white paper, so you can have a base to put all your stuff there, and then maybe put your name or draw yourself in the middle. So let's start.
English
But yeah, that's it's
There we
really
go.
beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Really cool. Okay.
This out, you can like ring it if you want to do that for attention and stuff.
I just realized there's a tool like that. Get everyone's attention. Okay. All right, time's up. I hope you had a lot of fun and know each other sitting next to you. Maybe we'll start from here, like each table probably like a little bit tiny sharing about what you've learned from this process, or what's like what did you think about it, like all kinds of things you want to share. Okay, let's from here.
About the process or about each other?
A reflection on the process.
Maybe process more.
Yeah. I think
Recorded.
for me, kind of
We
having
did the social tree.
yeah, so it is the social tree, and we kind of had a look at also these images, although we didn't use them. But I think having some instruction around like how to structure the conversation, like we were looking at this tree layout to kind of come up with questions was really helpful. And then like making connections between the different categories, and having this big sheet of paper is really helpful. So.
Thank you. So I just were talking to them, and today's workshop is different from the workshop I did with older adults because you guys all speak English, so it's much easier to communicate directly. But for the older adults, each table we had a like interpreter, and he or she will translate for the group. So also the images will be different because today I did not know who would come to this Design Forge conference, so I put very general images out there. But when we were working with the older adults, we picked exactly culturally relevant images with their background and culture. So when we put an image there, it will trigger their memories and stories and other things. Yeah. This table.
We had the drawing one, and I mean, I thought the questions, the prompts on these were really beautiful. One of them, for example, is what's your favorite object at home, which is not a question that you get asked often, but actually is so rich with ways of answering it, and like what you value and how that value gets placed in the things around you. And yeah, also just enjoying that space to draw, and that being a sort of mode of communicating.
Can you
for
draw
language.
maybe one of the images you draw and tell us about it?
Sure. So this one was, what is happiness? So I drew, thinking about happiness as the colors and textures of the world. And all you need is basic shapes and some brightness to build up on what happiness is.
Again, that just tangible, having these cards with the prompts, like it's just amazing how like something tangible just prompts action where, you know, we have a piece of paper that says, here's what you should do, and we might follow the instructions. We might do it, we might get around to it, but like having a thing to start drawing on, like make the question on it. That's really cool.
Thank you. It's cool.
I feel bad now because we didn't glue it down. Oh, okay, we have a photo.
Oh, we have I also took a picture, so.
Oh, great.
Wonderful. All right, never mind.
So we tried to make it modular, and we were each trying to give a chance to put everything together, but we had the universe one, the My Universe of Your World challenge. And a lot of it was just overwhelming response to these images, and we were trying to figure out, do we pick the image first, do we ask the question and then find the image? So it was this kind of advanced card sorting activity, but then evolved into a lot of just conversations and stories about things that I was interested as we were figuring out the universe for me, and trying to then, it was just fun to talk and think about the universe and put things, when we did put it together, a lot of the things that center my universe right now are a lot of creative endeavors. There's ceramics that I'm taking that I was able to put in this act of creating, a desire to want to get back into performing, and this like drama and storytelling. My love of sidewalks and dogs is appearing in there. Or moving sidewalks, yes, conveyor belts.
Conveyor belts.
Yeah.
Conveyor belts.
Conveyor
Mine is
sidewalks.
sidewalks.
And so it was just like all these small nuanced things that you hone in on and able to put around you that build up who you are and how you see yourself in the world that you are in and the universe that you contribute to. So
Glad to hear. So what I did is with like older adults, basically it's a different version from this. Here you talk to each other, figure out the images. When we did with older adults, it's like a more silent. They pick the images first, put together, then they talk to the interpreter, and the interpreter share with students. So it's like easier for them in that way. They do not have to like get translation every time they make a decision. So it's a little bit different twist, but the essence is there. Thank you.
thank you.
So we had the drawing one too. So we'll hold up our cards that we did. So that gave us an opportunity to kind of talk about like what was on our cards. And I'll just read mine. It was like, how do you feel and what is your favorite food? So I drew a bird because I feel like this is really freeing to be here and to just have something that's completely different from what I do every day. And then my favorite food, if you can't tell what that is, it's pizza. It's very good. What was yours? Yeah, it's very good.
What are the toppings?
What?
What are the toppings?
Oh, well, I couldn't represent everything, so we were talking about that. I'm pretty much like a kitchen sink kind of pizza person. Like, I'll eat just about anything with the exception of like anchovies on my pizza. So, but yeah, it's all fancy. And then my prompts were, what do you miss the most? And I shared some people and time, people moving around in places and stuff. So I hear them. And then who is most important in my life? And I did put myself. That's me myself. But I was finding a hard time deciding a single person, and like it's more like the collective experience of supporting me. So, and then I thought like who's gonna be the most important at the end of the day? Probably me. So.
So we did the universe activity, and I think we were in the same boat of like getting a little too focused on finding the picture versus like focusing on the conversation. But I really liked how Erica asked like what's closest to your heart. So trying to figure out like what layer to put things in, like how important it was to you. Like, is this something like a foundation to who you are as a person, or like something you just kind of casually like or interact with? So I think that for me, that kind of helps me think about like where things place things in circles.
Yeah, actually, some of the questions I put in those little cards, I thought about them, like I designed all of them, and I suddenly thought, like, I never asked those questions to my family members or close friends. Like, maybe I should start the conversation because those things are deep. They reveal who you are. Because I just didn't think in that way to talk to them about these things until I become a researcher, and then I realized, oh, a lot of people talk about these things. Maybe I should let my parents talk first. Yeah, that's my gain from my design research. Our next table.
Yeah, we did the My Universe activity. It's My Universe. They were able to, I'm pretty much an open book, so I kind of told them about my whole life. And it was very nice to get to see all this stuff. We kind of did something where I found it interesting that by looking at the pictures, I realized stuff that I liked. Like I'd see a picture and be like, oh, I do like that, or I don't like that. Like they had the idea to put, Michelle had the idea to put the thing that I really didn't like further at the edge of my universe, and the things that I do like closer to the middle. So I put like my meat well done. I don't need to see pink in the middle. So that's way at the edge of my universe. But like close to the middle is like love and happiness. And my dad's a singer, so I have music up here. And I'm an only child, so it's a little baby's hand grabbing the mom's hand. And I got interested in Taoism a little bit when I was in college. So it's a little bit closer, but it's further to like the edge because I'm still at the lower, but you know. Musical theater is up here because it is important, but it's not as important as like love and stuff. So yeah, and there's a little happy faces.
We also spent a long time talking about astrological signs. That's not represented.
Yeah, I'm a Leo. Barely me.
You don't draw your own. Like mash these up and draw your own. And you see
Yeah, it took me actually, I think, more than 3 hours to think about all these images and search online and put them together.
Thank you. Finally.
But like every time I do this with different group of people, I have to like use different kind of images to represent the people I think would enjoy or would like trigger their stories. So it kind of like it's a little bit time consuming, but I think you had a good suggestion. Maybe I should build a library of like a different set of images. Some can use for general audience, some can use for specific groups. So when time goes on, like I can build my own like set of images. I do not have to spend so much time like each time to.
A card deck, like an image deck somewhere, and I can't. I will find it and I will send it to you. It may not be what you want, but it could be like a good prototype.
Thank you. All right,
Use it before.
let's see the timing. Talk about climber.
Actually, I think I'm like on a tight schedule, so I cannot let the online people sharing anymore. But thank you for participating, and I will go directly to the next slides. But where's my mouse? Oh, here. Okay, so continue my lecture, and my solution for the issues I identified. In 2022, I created a course called Aging and Design. This course is an interdisciplinary and also intergenerational collaboration with my students and the older adults in the Asian aging communities. And this class, we did workshops, events like this with the older adults. We had a series of workshops. For example, the activities we've done today are mostly in the first workshop for them to introduce to each other, to tell stories, like whatever triggers them and they want to talk about. And we also provided food together so they get to know. And after this event, like in the end, everyone will joyfully like present their outcomes, different activities. After students go back to their classroom, and we did analysis, we did insights, it's like a design thinking process. Then we go back to the community again. We brought like prototyping materials with older adults, and based on the stories we talked in this first workshop, older adults and the students, they co-create things together to solve problems of the community or enhance their everyday life situation or bring joy to their environment. So I'll fast forward my rest slides. And this is our methodology. Because students are from different majors across the campus, the first thing I introduce them before we even go out to the workshops, I introduce them to design thinking methods. The double diamond, we all know that, I do not have to talk about that. Then participatory design, what is that? How do we include the older adults to our design process instead of designing for them, designing side by side with them together? So the community-based co-design, how do we approach this community? How do we make sure we not only learn from the community, but also contribute to them? We are in a win-win situation, not only take from them, but also empower them with our knowledge and our experience and help them to succeed. So we did like empathic modeling before we went to the community, which is we had like aging simulation costumes, vision impairment goggles, like arthritis gloves, to let students test out because they are facing like older people. And also, I think this exercise kind of enhanced their sensitivity to understand people who are very different from them, both age-wise and cultural-wise, to help them open their mind a little bit more. And this is a quote from students. Our observations during this exercise allowed us to see that individuals struggling with arthritis have much difficulty performing simple tasks, which can seem effortless to the rest of the population. And I also asked the students, this is assignment, to create participatory design toolkits like what we used here. And they bring these tangible toolkits. This is one of the students. He brought all the like color pencils, drawing board, all the things, images they collected to the workshop to work with older adults. And we collaborated with CMAC, which is a nonprofit organization working with mostly refugees from Asia, South Asia, in the south of Philadelphia. And these pictures were taken in their workshop community center in South Philadelphia. This is our team structure. We usually have one older adult, one volunteer translator who speaks both language, students and older adults. And
2 students from different majors. And these are our groups, a glimpse of, this is just one of the classes. We ran like several classes, but this is just one of them. This is a workshop, first workshop in person. So we did like 3 components: introduction, storytelling, and a presentation at the end. And this is a great way to actually, like on a daily basis, these group students and these older adults, they would never meet and talk. There's no possibility for them to have a crossroad. But like this course kind of created this bridge for them to communicate, connect, and talk to each other, which I think is a great way, first step for students to understand empathic design. And also for older adults to get their voices heard in a broader sense. And then we did co-create session like we just did. And a final presentation of the day's outcome, like students presented, older adults presented. I was doing some translation for the group as well. So participatory toolkit, this is the one we just, not this one, actually this is one of the toolkit. I can quickly left. But this one is from 2 students, one of them from architecture background. So you can see they want to build a dream home for the older adult. And they brought like sticky glue tapes and all the tools and some images they can cut from Interior Design magazine. So this is an older adult they work with. Basically the process is they ask older adults questions like what kind of ideal home you want, what kind of finishing, furniture, and you can pick from these magazines. And eventually, students glue together the elements the older adults identified from the magazines to make these dream home collage as the first step to understand their needs. This is the second workshop. After they came back, they decided to make it 3D. So they brought Lego pieces. And this is actually really well-made Lego. It has all the elements of like Chinatown with the lamps, with the teapots, all the things. And so older adult was very excited. And she picked, oh, I want this place to be sit down, relax with a shade on the top and a teapot table. And this place is for my grandchildren to play with. And this is a bus station. This is something else. They can chat and sit on a bench. So eventually we had this prototype totally done by older adults. Students just gave some introduction like how to use Lego pieces. And this, some of you asked about, how do you do remote workshop? This is another way we did it because we also worked with other nonprofit organizations. Some of the older adults were concerned about COVID because it was 2022. And so this group, we did Zoom and also a website, a software called a Twinmotion, which is an interior architecture design software. Like you can pull out, it's very straightforward. You can show the older adults, oh, these are the trees you can choose. These are the bricks you can choose. This is the pool. This is elements. How do you want to manipulate these elements together to build a rendering? So basically, students just ask older adults questions. And then older adults say, oh, I want this there, this there, this there. And they put together a final, like kind of like prototype of a public space. And they also talked about their needs, their interest in this park. Mapping your social tree, we did that. And what I want to talk a little bit is, this is a mural board version. And I know a lot of you know mural board, which is a whiteboard online version. And another group of students, they also applied this to mural board and made the thing together with older adults there. The key component here is that students need to make their example first, so older adult can refer to them when they make their own. It's much easier for them to understand instead of starting from the scratch. And this is the same concept as a universe or a world of universe. And this is called a priority mountain. And this, the most important thing are on the peak of the mountain, the least important thing at the bottom of the mountain. So you bring the board with the mountain printed on it, and older adults will pick images to put according to the priority, and they can talk about their stories later. We did this, and the color association game. This is also a like painting, drawing kind of exercise. the students ask questions to older adults, and they draw and paint according to the color they picked. They talk about the meaning of these colors in their life and their preferences, and does this color remind you of any memories? For example, this is one flower one older adult drew during the process, and in the end of this whole collaboration, the student team designed a planting pot for the older adult because of her interest in gardening. This is another one called a picture association activity. So this is actually a Zoom activity similar to today's. So how did the students do this? They designed a participatory toolkit before the workshop and delivered all these images, glues, scissors to the older adults' home before the activity. And the older adults did this collage according to the instruction, translated instruction. And so when we met on Zoom, older adults had already done the homework, and she was talking about, oh, this is important to me, to my memory, to my youth, why this is important. So it becomes a storytelling session after the homework done. So I really like students got the chance to visit older adult. Actually, during this casual delivering toolkit visit, they had a lot of interactions. They had conversations. Sometimes older adult would invite students to have dinner, like snacks together, and they show them around, because some of them, they really want to show young people what they are doing. Like, I'm good at knitting, I painted this, I did this, I'm planting this garden. So they show the student around. So there were a lot of stories in the back behind the class. We did online collaboration with Philadelphia Senior Center, and some of the things you saw was done on Zoom with them. So students went back brainstorming and prototyping. I have to speed up because I have a lot of slides. And these are the other sessions. Also, one thing, during the collaboration, a lot of older adults, they also had sessions with older adults asking questions of young students. So it's not like students understand them only one-sided, it's both-sided. Older adults ask questions, translator translated, then students answered and talk about them, their stories, their interests and their passion, so they get to learn each other better. This is a co-design workshop. You can see older adults were manipulating the prototype materials students brought to the workshop. So in the end, we had several exhibitions showcasing all the students and older adults work together facing public. And that was the highlight of our outcome. And because older adults language, we made all the materials, we made both languages, English and Chinese. And it was, let's see, this was in our lobby of our design college. And you can see all the older adults all attended. For example, these two students worked with this older adult, and these two older adults, this student worked with these two, and they all had a very great time together. And this is another exhibition at a different time. And this is exhibition in the South Philly Older Adult Community Center. Okay, some of the 3 minutes left. Prototypes. So there are a lot of cool prototypes we came up with, and I'm so excited I just got a grant to bring some of them to reality. So otherwise they're just conceptual ideas after the course, but I really want to bring them back to the community to make some real impact. So we are going to build some of them in the fall to help them launch to the market. One of the student team designed this language exchange classes between Drexel's language program and the Philadelphia Senior Center. So this is one of our assignments, final outcome of the course. But actually this course is already launched this winter. So it's been running for 3 months now, and it was really well received by the older adults. So I'm really happy for them. Okay, 2 minutes. So we used some mixed method evaluations of the course. Quantitative, we used some instruments to measure both students and older adults. Qualitative, we asked students and older adults to write reflective writing after every workshops and events together, and some open-ended questions. Also design research methods to evaluate. Okay, so qualitative research methods were used to measure effectiveness of the course. During the course, students developed a design process book and reflective writing, and older adults also gave feedback. And students said the class is a unique experience and an amazing learning opportunity that gave them unexpected perspectives and insights. A few students mentioned that they gained more respect for older adults. The major learnings from students were understanding the struggles of an immigrant and learning how to transcend cultural, lingual, and technical barriers to design something simple and impactful. Older adults expressed that the experience inspired their creativity, ignited their passion, and enriched their lives. Some appreciated experience that brought them confidence and joy, with a focus on heartwarming communication. These are quotes, and I'm just going to skip them because we are running out of time. Okay, future plan, like what I said, we got a grant, so we are going to continue this process, and I'm building up empathic co-design lab. Hopefully we can collaborate with more people from the communities and with more immigrants from different cultural backgrounds and languages. And this is our Joy from one of our volunteer interpreters, and she was really touched by this process, so she did this drawing including all of us. And this is her little group with the older adult, this is the artist, and these two students together. And this is my contact information, my Instagram, and if anyone want to follow. That's it. Thank you. If you have any questions, let me know.
Or anywhere online to learn a bit about and try and
Not yet, but I can do that. Yeah, I can share a link somewhere. I'm still building a website of my lab, so when I have the website ready, I will upload it.
So this is amazing. I love the photographs of them working together. Did you have teams with students and elders who then like work together on their own time and arrange time together?
Yeah, but it's a bit like